All right, welcome to the Waterboys College Football Show, March 24th, 2026. A lot of things to get to today, but before we get to any of that, and we do this like way out of order, we are going to be doing way too early Heisman rankings, the Ty Simpson versus Fernando Mendoza draft conversation. Strez, just before we got on, was letting me know about some drama that we've got there, so that'll be fun. Spring games are have started, and then we're going to we'll do our Mount Rushmore of best college football quarterbacks of the 2010s. The men's NCAA basketball tournament, seeing just college logos on TV is already... Like, I'm already looking at, I'm like, oh, Nebraska, when does football start? Like,
yeah, I saw something on Instagram. I was like looking at like the Sweet 16, and there's the 4 regions, and I was like, which one of these would be the best football matchups of all these regions? And I think it's the one that's got Michigan, Alabama. Who are the other 2 schools in that region? I can't even remember who those 2 are, but I think it was that one probably. That's probably the best football region of all. Tennessee, Iowa State. Those are the other 2.
Yeah, it just makes me think. All right, so we're going to get to way too early Heisman rankings. We're being very open and honest about this. This is way too early. No one should be talking about Heisman rankings this early.
Unless there's one person that you mention.
Yeah. So I pulled a list from Joel Klatt. He put out in December of 2025 at the very end of the year, based on how the year went. He put out his top 5 list for going into 2026. On his list, from 5 to 1, Damon Williams, Marcel Reed, Dante Moore, Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sayin. Obviously, a couple of those guys found themselves in New York over that Heisman run. Interesting that towards the end of the year, he did not have Arch Manning on his list. I did not look to see if it has changed. I would be shocked if he's put out a new list since then. That would not be very Joel Klatt of him. But it is a little weird. You know, he doesn't have Arch Manning on his list, but if you Google Heisman Trophy rankings for 2026, Arch is on all of them.
He's like number 1 again.
I just don't understand. Like, what do we need to see?
I think Arch has the talent to be there, but I don't think he is being coached by someone who can get it out of him and develop him. And that's saying a lot. I know a lot of people really like Sark. A lot of people have high praises of Steve Sarkisian, but I've always I feel the same way about Steve Sarkisian that I feel about Lane Kiffin. Okay, sure. They're good coaches. I don't know that I see them, specifically Sark, like pulling a Heisman Trophy performance from Arch Manning for an entire season. He shows flashes week in and week out just about. But I just don't think that I see I don't think that I see a 12-game stretch of Arch playing Heisman caliber quarterback.
I mean, there's been a case to be made. I can remember this being a conversation a few years back, because there was the push to, so-and-so's a great quarterback coach, let's make an offensive coordinator and then make them a head coach as fast as humanly possible. And that, I think in people's head, it's great quarterback coach, great offensive coordinator, great head coach. If you're a great offensive coordinator, you must be a great quarterback coach. I don't know that is always 100% True. If it was, then Washington wouldn't have had Kingsbury in the building for Jaden Daniels' rookie year. Like, he was not the offensive coordinator; he was the quarterback coach for Washington, and it was blatantly obvious he was the reason Jaden Daniels played so well.
Yeah, I mean, one offensive rookie of the year.
So, I mean, I'm sure you look at Sark. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head what years he was at Alabama and what quarterbacks that were there. But I mean, Quinn Ewers is probably going to be a career backup in the NFL. That's not a terrible thing to say of a quarterback like Guru. I think if you're an offensive coordinator, you're a head coach, and you put anybody in the NFL that draws a paycheck for a few years, I would call that a success. But yeah, I don't really know what you point at Sark and go quarterback guy.
Yeah, that's kind of where my issue with, not necessarily issue, because obviously, like, Arch Manning, he's got the Manning name to him. Like, that's obviously going to get him a big pool. We feel like we saw him come in, early on in his career, because remember, for everybody watching at home, this will be Arch Manning's 4th full season as a Texas Longhorns quarterback. His 4th year in the program, his 4th year playing college football. But early on in his career, we saw flashes where they had special things where they would bring him in and it would be like a specific package. There are specific plays that he ran, and he nailed those. He's very athletic. He has a big arm. But I think when it's time for him to play full-time quarterback, and he's going up against, I mean, obviously he's going to be successful against, the San Jose States, those types of schools. But when he's going up against legitimate defenses, legitimate football teams, like the Ohio States, like the Georgias, like the Alabamas, you name the powerhouses in the SEC, he doesn't look like a Heisman quarterback, a Heisman football player in general. So I don't know. I think it's pretty brave of Joel Klatt to not have him in his top 5. So shout out to Joel Klatt for that one. And I do think that adding DeMond Williams was also a brave take as well. I'm pretty high on DeMond Williams. I think he is an electric football player. Like, he's fun to watch. He's awesome. But when you compare him to, the other guys that are on that list, Jeremiah Smith, for example, which one of those is a better football player? Because, like, the Heisman goes to the best football player in the country. And if we're gonna have an honest conversation, the best football player in the country, taking my bias out of the conversation, the best football player in the country wears number 4 in scarlet and gray week in and week out.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think looking at his list, I think the guy on here that, if he starts hot, is going to become a media darling is probably Marcel Reed. Just because he is electric. He has that, like, video game athleticism that really makes fans and media excited. And Texas A&M probably, I know for sure this year, they think they had the most players at the NFL Combine. They will probably be close to repeating that next year, just because of the amount of money they're spending to get players in the building. So he will have an unbelievable amount of NFL talent around him. And probably early, he's going to be somebody that there's just something different about if you're a quarterback playing college football in the state of Texas. You just kind of like, it just gives you, it's nothing against anybody. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's wide receivers and out of Florida. Like, it's just the way that it is.
Yeah, 100%. He's going to have a much tougher test this go around than last season. I know a lot of the criticism on Marcel Reed and Texas A&M last season was that they just played the bottom half of the SEC. Just looking at their schedule, what he's got coming this season, they open up against Missouri State. And then their second game is against Arizona State. And then 2 weeks after that, they go to LSU. Then they have Arkansas. Then they're at Mizzou. Then they've got that mid-October game against the Citadel. And then they're at Alabama, at South Carolina, Tennessee at home, at Oklahoma, Texas at home. So I think it's going to be a much tougher go of a season for A&M and Marcel Reed going into this season. So if he does go out and put up numbers like we think he can, he could be a shoo-in for at least for sure getting to New York City. I don't know about winning the award, but like definitely making it to New York City as one of the finalists.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a little lucky probably in that, yes, he's got to play LSU, he's got to play Alabama, he's got to play Oklahoma. He doesn't have to play Georgia's defense, which is that's a great, like, you don't have to play Georgia's defense. We don't really know what LSU's defense is going to look like. If you're an LSU fan, you're watching this. I'm not saying your defense is not going to be great. You're bringing in an offensive guy. These are how these things work. I said this to Oklahoma fans when Brent Venables came here. They were like, if we could just have a defense that was close to, what we had, just a little bit better than what we have with Lincoln Riley, we win games. And I would say, except for you're going to not have the offense you had with Lincoln Riley because your head coach is a defensive guy.
Yeah.
This is just the way things work.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to play, Georgia. That really helps you. You don't know what you're going to get with LSU or Arkansas. So, he is playing some of the tougher defenses, but he's not going to have to play a couple of defenses that I think are probably going to be really good. The one that was not on his list, but he had down in like other guys to watch. One guy that I'm really going to be interested to see how the national media covers him and what they can do is Ahmad Hardy out of Missouri. I think he was incredibly underrated last year, and now it's not his fault because there was 2 running backs in Notre Dame that were both going to play on Sunday, guys. And so he didn't get maybe the shine that he should have gotten, but I thought he was fantastic last year at Missouri, and they utilized him a lot in a lot of different ways. And so I'd be interested to see how the national media, takes to him. He has Malachi Toney, wide receiver. It'll be a cold day in hell before 2 wide receivers end up on a top 10 board for Heisman. It just will not happen.
If there was going to be a year, it would be a year with Malachi Toney and Jeremiah Smith. Like that would make sense. Like if it's going to happen, it's going to be that year.
I just think the media is allergic to it.
Agreed. I agree with that. Yeah, I think a name that I think people should keep an eye on. And I brought this guy's name up several times on the show for the last several months. Drew Mestemaker at Oklahoma State. The kid led the NCAA in passing yards last season at North Texas. Granted, it was at North Texas. He wasn't playing, Big 12. But he is going with his head coach, the guy who believed in him, and is bringing him along the way from North Texas to Oklahoma State. And I mean, just watching this kid throw the football, watching him drop back is like, it's like he looks like he's got kind of like a Garrett Nussmeier to him. Like it's like he 100% looks the part. Ty Simpson 100% like looks the part. But then he packages it well and also executes. He's always on target. Great deep ball, great touch over the middle, great ball placement on the outside. Like he is a very talented quarterback, and I think that that's a name that people should keep an eye on. And we'll get a good look at him early. I mean, they're at Tulsa to open up the season, and then they've got Oregon in Stillwater. So weeks 1 and 2, Drew Mestemaker, make or break, and I think it's going to be a make for him. I think he's going to be really fun to watch this season at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, he's gonna have a pretty favorable draw as far as their schedule this year. Obviously, toughest team on their regular schedule is going to be Texas Tech. But he's going to get UCF on a down year. He's going to get Colorado is probably not going to improve a whole lot. I have not heard a lot, so that probably is not a good thing. Iowa State just lost their head coach, so that's going to be
their entire roster also.
Yeah, so you're not going to get a whole lot there. Kansas State, they didn't show a whole lot last year as far as improvement goes. And Arizona State, they are preseason ranked number 23. We don't really know what we're getting there because I think they lost their quarterback. So, it'll be interesting. That Oklahoma State spring game, I think, will be really interesting. I sent out some texts to some guys that I know up there, and I said, what do you think? What is the spring game looking like? Are they going to play? Are like guys going to get out and play? Gundy was really notorious for like treating the spring games like just they don't care, they don't matter. They're looking at this the way that they should, using this as a way to kind of galvanize that Cowboy Nation fan base, and I think they're going to let him go out there and throw the ball around.
Yeah,
and it'll be fun.
I think you mentioned that about Mike Gundy. If Eric Morris can do literally the opposite of everything that Mike Gundy did
last 5 years.
Last 5 years, Oklahoma State's going to be in a good spot. And I think just for like the future of the program, I think I'm sure the fan base is excited. I'm sure, the Oklahoma State truthers that are attending the school there, they've got to be excited. They've got fresh new start at head coach for the first time in 20 years, it feels like, close to it. And now you're getting this gunslinging quarterback that's like I think is going to have an incredible year ahead of him. This is a great opportunity at the spring game just to be like, here's what you guys get to look forward to every Saturday this fall. Build that excitement, build that fan momentum. Like that would be a really cool thing just for the Cowboys.
I always liked it when, and Bob didn't do it a lot. I'm not saying like they ran 4 quarters of football but like that first 8 minutes, like Bob would let the guys turn loose and really play. And it was a lot of fun for fans. I know Ohio State has done similar things with their red and white game where you're not going to see anything if you're someone watching film, but as a fan, you at least can go, oh, we got a guy that can play quarterback. Gundy, the last few years, it was like he was trying to hide the fact that, hey, we don't have good quarterback play.
Yeah.
And I think, especially with the videos Oklahoma State's been putting out, I think he's trying to do everything he can to go, hey, we're trying to build something here.
Yeah.
The only other name that he's got on his list, Wayman Jordan from USC. I think there needs to be, and if Joel Klatt is the guy to lead this charge, I'm here for it. There needs to be someone to lead the charge on running backs are back at the college football and the NFL level. Stop pretending this is 15 years ago when everyone was running spread offense and running backs were just back there to block, to give a quarterback time. Like they're being utilized in offenses again at both the college and the NFL level. We're seeing some great running backs in college right now. It's time for Heisman voters to get on board. Like, it's annoying. Last year annoyed the ever-loving piss out of me, the way they acted about running backs the whole year.
Yeah. And I think I want to put a little bit of blame on Notre Dame on their part, because I very much think that Jeremiah Love probably could have and should have won the Heisman last season. But I think Notre Dame hurt his Heisman campaign at the very beginning of the season. Like they didn't really start like feeding him the rock until like week 4. And I was like, what are we doing? And then they go out and play Arkansas and they're like, let's hand the ball to Jeremiah Love as many times as we can. And he goes for like 250 yards, just like a ridiculous performance. And it's like, this is what we've been expecting all season long with the guy. Like, why have you not been doing this? So yeah, And as the former running back on the show, like I do think like absolutely running backs need to be getting the love that they deserve, you know? And it was the first year since like 1955 or something that a year that ends in a 5, a running back did not win the Heisman Trophy award. So
yeah, and it's, you know, it started, you know, it started 2 years ago. There's going to be at least 2 or 3 guys that are going to be playing on Sunday. There's a couple of rookies. Ashton Genty looked good last year in the NFL. Not great, but good.
yeah, there's
he's
only so much
playing-
you can do at a team where you're like the only option.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like polishing a turd where he's playing.
It's the Raiders. Like what we can't say, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not. But yeah, it's time to do that. He's also got listed down here just guys to keep an eye on: Lenore Sellers, Jaden Mayava, Trinidad Chambliss, Bryce Underwood. I will go to bat a little bit for if we get John Mateer early, like we got John Mateer early, and he doesn't get hurt. They're if the media gets a sniff, they might get Baker Mayfield 2.0. He will launch to the top of everyone's Heisman.
1,000%. 1,000%.
I mean, they posted a video. He's out doing flips and stuff with the men's gymnastics team. Like, I'm like, yeah, this guy's everything. This guy's everything anybody ever wanted in a quarterback. So that'll be fun. Speaking of quarterbacks, Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza. I didn't really know this was like a hot topic of conversation.
I need to send you the clip from the Pat McAfee show today because I thought Dano was gonna like throw his phone in his car. He was getting so mad. And you know Pat McAfee, he just pokes. He knows like he's a WWE guy. Like he knows how to get a reaction out of someone. And then also like all the guys that he's got with him are also just a bunch of rage baiters as well. So it's like I have to send you the clip. It was like it kind of hurt to watch, but at the same time, it's like they have some good points, Dano. Did you watch the games? Like, did you watch Ty Simpson play in football games this season? Like when he played against the really good defenses, he looked okay. You know, and so it was an interesting conversation, but
yeah. So looking at some draft comparisons here, Fernando Mendoza, 6'5", last season threw for 3,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, big time arm, a lot of experience over the last 2 seasons. Ty Simpson, they've got him style here: elite pocket technician with strong footwork compared to a young Brock Purdy. I love revisionist history. They're like, he's like a young Brock Purdy. Oh, you mean the guy no one cared about and he got drafted last?
Very last, Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, go out on a limb there, fellas. 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns. Viewed by some analysts as better, more NFL ready passer, but has fewer starts and lacks the ideal size of Mendoza. His mechanics are really, really good. Ty Simpson's mechanics are really, really good, but they have to be because he's only 6'1".
Yeah.
Like he can't have sloppy mechanics. Like he can't throw, like he can't get away with it.
No.
Fernando, 5. She's Louise.
Fernando's a big guy. I think that's something that a lot of people didn't realize about the kid. And then I mean, I just like go straight back to the play in the national championship where he like busted play, runs up the middle, dives, takes a hit, and still is able to carry momentum into the end zone. It's like, yeah, it's because he's huge. Like he's a massive dude. So yeah, I do think that that's a big difference there. And NFL scout, like people talk about all the time, like Russell Wilson was short, Doug Flutie was short. Okay, well, those two are like they won Super Bowls. What are we talking about? Doug Flutie didn't win a Super Bowl, but he's one of those quarterbacks that's like,
oh, he didn't. No, he didn't win a Super Bowl.
He may have won one. I don't know. I don't think he did, but he's a quarterback that like people know from last century. Like,
yeah.
He's one of, like, if you name quarterbacks from like the 90s, you're gonna be like, yeah, Doug Flutie. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I don't
Kurt
like,
Warner. You're like, oh, you mean the greatest show on turf? Like, yeah,
yeah,
that guy.
yeah. And so it's like wanting to throw out like the size thing. Like NFL scouts care, like they care about these kinds of things. You know, like that was one of the biggest talks about Kyler Murray when he was coming out. It's like, oh, he's small, his hands are little, he's not gonna be able to see over the line of scrimmage. Just like, okay, you ever heard of rollout? You ever heard of getting out of the pocket, throwing on the run? Like, what are we talking about here?
RPO anyway. It's not like the days of guys just dropping back in shotgun and like that just doesn't happen now.
Yeah, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady are not playing anymore. Even though Tom Brady looks like he maybe could. He could go out there and start for the Browns tomorrow, I think.
You know, and they both have holes. I mean, I'm not, you know, we won't sit here to slobber over Fernando Mendoza. He will throw the ball to the other team.
Yeah, almost on the first play of the game.
Every time.
He did it like 3 times last season.
He's got early game jitters. You'll never see a quarterback that won a Heisman trophy and a national championship, and you'll go look, if you just watch the first quarter or the first 2 or 3 drives of some of his games, and you'll go, this guy's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it all season long. We're like, this is one of the worst Heisman races we've ever watched because of quarterback play like Fernando Mendoza. You know, like Julian saying, never really got going. You know, but he has an excuse. It was his first year starting. You know, Fernando Mendoza had a couple years at Cal before he went to Indiana, so he had, you know, some experience there. So yeah, it was not what you would expect the guy to win the Heisman to play like on film.
No, and I think, you know, we talked about it a little bit last year. I mean, Fernando Mendoza, some of these quarterbacks that were in New York finished with like thousands of yards less than guys that won Heisman's in previous years. A little bit of that is scheme, probably. You know, a little bit of that is quarterback play has gotten a little soft. But, you know, big matters. I mean, Josh Allen, if Josh Allen wasn't big, doesn't get drafted.
His style of play wouldn't work.
Yeah, you can't be like that.
Yeah.
So
I think this happens every draft season. This happens. There's a quarterback that people who watch college football are like, he's not going to be a good pro. For some reason, March, early April, people start talking up this one guy. You know, Zach Wilson is the perfect example, right? Every single year, like there's one of these guys. Last year it was Tyler Shuck. People were throwing his name out left and right. I mean, granted, he did come out at the end of the season and actually look really, really good. Probably played the best quarterback out of any of the rookies last season, towards the second half of the season. But there's always a quarterback that gets boosted, and there's always a quarterback that like gets torn down. And I just looked it up because I was curious when Alabama's pro day is tomorrow, or it's tomorrow. So we're gonna watch Ty Simpson go out there and throw beautiful balls against no one. And he's going to be throwing to Alabama receivers during his pro day. So they're going to make him look even better than he actually is. And we're going to continue to have more of this conversation about, you know, a guy who was, I mean, for all intents and purposes, like when he played tough defenses in the college football playoff, first half against OU did not look good. The entirety of the game against Indiana, they didn't score a touchdown in the first half. I don't think they scored a touchdown. I don't even remember what the final score of that game was, but it was not close. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like we literally had this conversation 3 weeks ago, I think, on the show. We're like, do NFL fans watch college football? Like, are we crazy? Like, it just like, watch the games, watch the film. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, he's not Mitch Trubisky. I'm not like saying that Ty Simpson is that. Like, that was wild. He was sucked in college, but everyone was like, hey, really big.
He went over Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, like, okay, big arm, big kid, you know. And in the right, you know, for him, for Ty Simpson, the best case scenario is for you to get picked towards the bottom of the first round, top of the second. You're not going somewhere that is like you're showing up as the starter on the first day. Fernando Mendoza's rookie year, and probably sophomore and junior year in the NFL, there will be conversations that go where people will overblow it and go bust, because that team, that organization he is going to, is horrible.
And we're assuming that he's going first overall because that's probably what should happen, what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they, because we used to say, well, and now we really, it's Cincinnati, it's Cleveland, and it's Vegas. And if you are a quarterback at any of those three places, you either go there and you play your heart out for your rookie deal, and then you cannot wait to get traded, or you go there to die a slow death. And Vegas the Raiders have not hit on their quarterback in 15 years. Just been a revolving door.
I mean, Derek Carr, first half of his career.
And he was one of those guys. In a better situation, who knows?
Yeah, they tried. I think they sent him to New Orleans and didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they haven't figured out. And I'm not going to say I'm a fan of an NFL team. That it's like a joke. Every year, somebody puts out an Instagram reel of every quarterback that's played in Chicago since the year 2010. It's like 30 guys. So I'm not saying that, but for the Raiders should be we're talking about like Al Davis. Like, you guys should be able to figure this out. They won't, and he will struggle mightily. But he's got a running back there that struggled along with him last year. That can be, hey, Bubba, I get it, man.
Yeah,
we're in this together.
I mean, the thing with the Raiders though is like, it's not a lack of weapons around you, because now they have Ashton Genty, they have Brock Bowers, who might be the best tight end in the league going into his third season this year. So this could be the right time to take a swing at a guy that has the tools to be a really good starter in the league, and use the rest of your picks and capital to, bring in one really, really good wide receiver one, beef up your offensive line, like do the necessary things that you need to do to help your quarterback get to where you want him to be moving forward. And I think as college football fans, like, that is one of the things that I think that we all hate watching is guys that we see play really good football in college get put into really terrible situations, and it just like, it ruins them.
Yes.
It's hard to watch. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. If we have the draft, it is a month away officially. So it'll be a month from Thursday. There's no telling how many times the first overall person is going to change between now and then. So
as long as we don't have another Justin Fields, Sam Bradford situation, I will be fine. But if he's a good kid, nice kid, good family, I don't want to see another good kid just circle the drain in the NFL for a decade. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
What
Justin
happens
Fields,
Johnny Manziel doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Justin Fields is one of those guys that I was just talking about, right? Like, he was so much fun to watch in college.
And he was fun in spurts in Chicago when they would just let him play and let him play how he liked to play in spurts. He was really fun to watch.
Like, I remember vividly that game that it was like monsooning, and he leads the comeback win and goes down to the end zone and slides on his belly, him and DJ Moore in the end zone. Like, that is etched in my memory because Justin Fields is one of my all-time favorite Buckeyes. But now he's playing on his fourth different team in 4 years.
Yep.
It's just incredible how some talented quarterbacks can very much be ruined.
Yep. The same can happen with quarterbacks with no talent, that a coach is we talk about it all the time. Coaches are like, I know, but
I can fix him. Yeah. There are some offense coordinators and head coaches out there that are absolutely like that.
They like they're fixers. All right, spring games. I think for the most part, every spring game should be done pretty much by midway through April. But there are spring games this Friday. No one cares. They're not teams anybody cares about.
Yeah, but like, come on.
I'll watch them. I mean, I'm gonna watch them.
If we can find them, we're watching them, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch them if they're on. I don't care if it's streaming on YouTube. I just need football.
I mean, we can watch what the Citadel's going to do against Texas A&M in mid-October. You know,
that's true. I mean, if you're them, that's the game you're scheming for that game now. The rest of your season, whatever.
Nebraska Clemson on Saturday.
Nebraska Clemson Saturday. That's going to be really really fun. BYU's alumni game. What does that mean?
Do they always do that?
We left Oklahoma left the Big 12 as they were coming in, so it never got on my radar. And you can watch it on BYU TV, which is a free app that you get on your smart TV. So if that is an actual alumni, if there are dudes from the NFL coming back to play in the alumni game, BYU is a wild place.
They established the alumni football game as a tradition, holding the event for 4 consecutive years since 2022. Takes place at the end of spring ball, featuring former players in a drafted touch football format. That's kind of fun. It's a 2-hand touch featuring former players, coaches, and staff.
I mean, that's you know. That could be fun.
That's interesting. You know,
how many guys players play from BYU? I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of offensive linemen from BYU, but
like 3.
Yeah. Let's see here. Looking now April 11th, it looks like a lot of schools kick theirs off. You got Florida, Purdue, Alabama, Tennessee, Colorado, Syracuse, all play on Saturday, April 11th. Friday, April 17th, Texas Tech,
Louisville,
Army, if they have one. Saturday, April 18th. Few more: Ohio State, Georgia, Oklahoma.
That's the big day, I think, of most of the.
And you know, some of these, if you're an SEC fan, most of those spring games will be on the SEC Network Plus. That's usually where they broadcast them. I'm sure a lot of schools will be doing this on their YouTube channel. If I was them, that's what I'd do.
Yeah,
make it easy on everybody. But you know, as far as spring games go, they don't matter. Just so Notre Dame's playing spring games on Peacock. That's so Notre Dame.
That's just ridiculous.
Like Peacock's like, oh, Notre Dame putting pads on. Let's put them on
there. SEC Network, SEC Network Plus, Big Ten Network, Peacock, NBC's app.
Like basically national television. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, spring games don't matter. If you're a fan, spring games don't matter at Hill Beans. They're fun. It feels good to go out to a stadium and smell grass and dirt. That's really about
hear pads.
Yeah, that's all you're caring about. Pre-game music, you know, guys are out there warming up. You know, it's usually sunny because it's in the spring. Like that's all they're for. I have probably been to, I don't know, 9, 10, 11 spring games. Never saw anything that I was like, yeah, buddy.
This is the year.
The only thing I do remember, the only vivid memory I have is Marquise Brown ran.
Oh, he did that race against the students
for scholarship thing.
Yeah. And he beat everybody.
That was like that's the only thing I'd ever done. And he was new. Like we didn't really know who Hollywood was. He'd not even gotten really, I think he was calling himself Hollywood, but a nickname, one of those things where it's like,
you need to wait to yourself. Like, what are we doing here?
But you know, with that famous, you know, what's his name, all season, just became obsessed with him. Joel Klatt's partner. What's his name?
Gus Johnson.
Yeah, Gus Johnson just couldn't get enough of Hollywood. That's the only thing I ever remember from spring games. But with the transfer portal window being closed, with NIL,
early enrollments are like a pretty consistent thing nowadays.
You can show stuff if you're a coach. It's not going to change anything.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not.
Yeah. Really,
So
really,
I
it's just Yeah, really all spring games are for if a school even like does theirs like in a legitimate way. Like, I went to the University of Arkansas's red and white game probably a handful of times growing up. And if it's done right and you're actually playing that type of game, that is an opportunity for players that are kind of like on the cusp of moving up a spot on the depth chart.
Yep.
Like if you had a really good spring practice leading up to that, like the game alone is not going to make or break it for you. But it's your chance to actually go out there and be like, no, I can be consistent with this. I can go through my full game day routine. I can get out on the field. I can be in front of, several thousand people and still perform the same way that I was performing at practice when no one was watching. It's just another opportunity for players to do that. It's another opportunity for, coaches to work with, their quarterbacks if they have younger quarterbacks, because they're doing the, player to coach communication now in the helmet. Some more practice for that, just to polish some things up, just to kind of keep you fresh and limber, during the spring, because, a lot of these schools are done playing the week of Thanksgiving. So it's not like the NFL where, the regular season goes through till January. A lot of these schools are done by November, and the first time that these guys hit each other again is in March. And then they go home for the summer or stay on campus for the summer, do their summer workouts and stuff, and then fall camp starts. So yeah, really all spring practice is for is it's a fan showcase thing. You got new merch you want to push to your fan base. Sure. You go out there and sell some new merch, sell some new hats. It's a chance to, get excited about the team, go out there and, do your chants, do your cheers in the stands, all that kind of stuff. But really, like, other than that, like, it doesn't mean anything as a fan watching other than like college football happening in front of me. This is great. But really all spring practice is for is like some additional development for some younger guys that might actually be on the cusp of, maybe coming off of a redshirt year, maybe coming off of an injury, to really get out there and kind of show what you have.
And, hopefully this year, like previous years, we get videos of coaches giving walk-on scholarships at spring games. I always love that. That's fun.
Yeah. Proposals happen sometimes, I think.
Had a few of those. That's always
there have been those. Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff that happens at spring games. It's just not, the football's not the thing. That's the cool thing that's happening.
I think one year, Dad came home from like a veteran returning home. Family doesn't know he's there, like that.
Oh yeah.
Like you could tell Bob was like, all right, this is good. I mean, fans will be excited here because I'm not going to show you anything. In case, we're not even going to have we're 2 and 3 are playing. We're not even Baker's not even playing. So
yeah, like I'm thinking Ohio State, like if 4 is suited out on that game, I'm going to rage. Jeremiah Smith, do not put your shoulder pads on. Don't do it.
There's a bunch of freshmen. They'll be juiced to the gills. This will be the first time to put on college pads in a setting.
Yeah. I'm thinking like Chris Henry Jr., that huge freshman that's coming out for Ohio State. Like, this will be his chance to actually put on the actual Ohio State uniform and go out and play.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem there at all. Here we go. Let's see here. We are going to do Mount Rushmore of best college football quarterbacks of the 2010s. So last week we did best wide receivers of the 2010s. That was hard enough. I thought this was going to be easier. It's not.
There were some dogs at quarterback in the 2010s. I mean, they're all the guys right now in the NFL. Like, when you really sit back and think about the quarterbacks from the 2010s, it's like, yeah, they are literally all of them are like running the NFL currently.
Yeah,
Second half of the 2010s at least.
And it's tough to look at because you can look at this one of two ways. You go by peak. Like they had that one season that was unbelievable and it was fantastic. Or
Joe Burrow 2019.
Yeah. Or do you go, they played 4 years or they played 3 years. They put up crazy numbers. So, that's what makes this a little bit harder. So I will allow you to go first and have the first pick.
Yeah. I think my first quarterback on my Mount Rushmore has to be Lamar Jackson. I'm a Lamar truther. He has always been spectacular. I mean, his one highlight from high school where he stops right at the goal line and that player goes flying past him and he just walks in and the drops, like, Lamar's been doing that since he was 16 years old. And we got to see even more of it when he was at Louisville, just making these like college players just look silly. It's like what is going on? This is ridiculous. Won a Heisman Trophy, never got to a national championship just by nature of playing at Louisville. Had he been somewhere bigger, I'm sure that there would have been a way better chance for him to get a ring. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, he is my first Mount Rushmore pick from the quarterbacks of the 2010s.
Yeah. I'm getting an opinion. See, because I'm having trouble. Do I just pick it on peak? Because if I pick it on peak alone, on like who electrified college football, it's really hard. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. Cam Newton, 14-0. The passing numbers are unbelievable. What's even crazier is he rushed for almost 1,500 yards.
Yeah,
as a quarterback and a big quarterback. Like, not this isn't Lamar, this isn't Kyler. This is a like 6'7" giant men among boys guy.
Yeah, like Bo Jackson's numbers were in danger by a quarterback.
Single season numbers. Like there was a serious discussion about it, like what happens here. And that team was not good.
No.
Average football team. But when your quarterback throws for 30 and runs for 20, when your quarterback is responsible for 50 touchdowns between running and passing, that covers up a lot of problems.
That's a big peak too. And I think Cam Newton is in the conversation for greatest football players ever in college football history.
Yeah.
He's got to be up there. It was an interesting journey for him too in his career. He started out at, where was he at? Florida?
No. So he verbally committed, all but signed it to Mississippi State.
That's
was
right.
In the student section ringing cowbells at a game as a senior in high school. Like, he was going to Mississippi State. They had him in the, and this, now all the guys go, they put pads on, they take promo pictures. They didn't do that like that. He had promo pictures done. They were getting posters ready. He was going to Mississippi State. Then he goes Florida and has a problem at Florida. And then where he ended up at JUCO?
Yeah, he went to Coffeyville, I think.
Yeah.
Where I think Brandon Jacobs went to the same JUCO at one point.
His journey is the journey of a guy that at the end of his career, you go, man, what could have happened? You know what I mean? Like when you hear a guy was like, I'm going to go here and then here, and they ended up at JUCO, and then I went, that never works.
And then on top of that, wins the Heisman, wins the national championship, goes to the NFL, wins an MVP, goes to the Super Bowl. Like,
wild.
It should have never happened. But Cam Newton, like, there's a reason people call him Super Cam. Like, Like he was just different.
Very.
That's a great first pick.
All right, who you got at number 2?
My second one, I'm going, Lamar's career. I'm going to go peak on my second pick here. Joe Burrow. Joe Shiesty, 2019. The greatest quarterback season we've ever seen in college football. I mean, they went, what did they end up going? 15-0 that year?
Yes.
Because they went 12-0, won the SEC championship, won both rounds of the 4-team college football playoff. So yeah, Joe Burrow, one of the best offenses we've ever seen. And Joe Burrow was like the catalyst for that offense. I say peak because the year before, the 3 years that he was in undergrad at Ohio State, like touched the field like for kneel downs. That was it.
Yeah, couldn't get on the field.
No, and of course, I mean he's in a quarterback room with Cardell Jones. I'm freaking blanking on name. Braxton Miller.
Yep.
And I cannot believe I'm blanking on freaking Ohio State quarterback name right now. This is really embarrassing.
He wasn't there with Troy Smith, was he?
No, Troy Smith was like 07.
Okay.
07, 08. Anyways, I'm ashamed of myself, but I have CTE, so I have a good excuse. But he was in a quarterback room that was filled with dogs, right? Transfers to LSU. His first year at LSU, not the best.
No.
Got beat by Texas in a bowl game in the postseason that year. And then follows it up the next season with the greatest offensive performance we've ever seen from a quarterback. It's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So yeah, Joe Burrow.
All right, let me think here. I'm gonna go chalk. I'm gonna go Homer. I could go
Barrett.
Homer. I could go Homer. Yeah, JT Barrett. I could go Homer on 2 picks, but I don't want to be that guy. Listen, man, it's unfair that we had that was I was gonna say we actually had 4 straight years where it was like this is not fair. You shouldn't be allowed to.
It was really stupid.
It's like, okay, come on. There will probably what we saw from Baker Mayfield from 2015 to 2017 will probably never be replicated in college football ever again because of the transfer portal. Like you're not going to have a guy that's going to come in, is going to have to sit for an entire season because he walks on.
He unenrolls, right?
Yeah,
from Ole Miss.
Doesn't tell nobody.
Oklahoma.
Unenrolls from Texas Tech. Doesn't tell anybody he's coming. Goes and enrolls in Oklahoma, staying in the regular student dorms. If people are watching this, like I thought that was all like media thing. No, that really happened. He was not in the athletic dorms. But that year, he kind of like earned all the respect of not just the fan base, but of the football team itself. Like everybody knew the guy was a dog. Like he practiced incredibly hard, worked really hard, could not play. Like there wasn't room for him to play. And we had Landry Jones. If you don't know that name, probably one of the most, his records are just unbelievable. I mean, at one point, Landry Jones held the passing record for the NCAA. So, but Baker just couldn't get on. And then when he got on 2015 to 2017, I mean, it was weird. It was electric and weird at the same time because he had nothing going for him physically that should make it work.
I still think to this day he runs weird.
There's a lot of movement for not a lot of speed.
Yeah, like his legs are moving, but he is not. Like it's just weird to watch sometimes. Like I'm like I've maybe seen this in like 1 or 2 other people in my lifetime, and it just like has never felt normal to me.
He runs like when 2 uncles at Thanksgiving who were like in their 50s decide they're going to foot race.
Had really bad knee problems growing up, and it's like very obvious.
He's shifty for no reason, but what he did at Oklahoma, good Lord, almost 69% passing rating, passed for 14,600 yards, 131 touchdowns, had 1,000 rushing yards, which is hilarious, and 21 rushing touchdowns. Heisman, Maxwell, Walter Camp, Davey O'Brien, AP Player of the Year, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, first team All-American 2 years, first team All Big 12 2 years, Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year in 2013, and that wasn't even a good year. That was when he was at Tech. And if
he planted a flag in the middle of Ohio Stadium.
But he then went to Fayetteville and ran from cops. So
that's true.
And the most wild thing for me, looking back on that era, is he was the best quarterback at Texas Tech, and I think Kyle Kingsbury to this day, I think he started to admit, I really screwed that thing up. Like, Baker was winning his games. He got hurt. We didn't win any games. When he came back, I still let the guy that took his job have the job. When everybody was like, you guys went 4-0 with him.
Yeah. But then Patrick Mahomes happened, and they're like, okay, we're fine.
Yeah. So
had that never happened, we would never have gotten that infamous Baker Mayfield versus Patrick Mahomes football game.
The greatest college football game I've ever seen in my entire life.
Just an insane amount of offense in that game.
It was wild. So I'll take Baker.
Great pick. Wow. Yeah, 2010s was there were some absolutely incredible college football quarterbacks. And I think one of them that I think people kind of forget how good he was in college, kind of because of where he went, and then how the fact that he was drafted by the Jaguars after that. People forget how good Trevor Lawrence was in college. Trevor Lawrence was him in college. He started out like 30-0, something ridiculous. Like it was like his junior year before he actually lost a football game.
Yeah.
Which is just like, that doesn't make any sense in my brain. One of the most talented players like we have ever seen, grew up like 30 minutes away from Justin Fields. Like they were constantly playing against each other in high school, which is just really weird to say out loud because they were like, their careers were kind of attached at the hip in college too, because like Clemson, Ohio State has kind of developed some sort of weird rivalry over the last 25 years. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, went out, won the Heisman or won the national championship as true freshman. Yeah, when he hit Hunter Renfrow when they beat Alabama, it was his true freshman season.
Yeah.
Hunter Renfrow. Speaking of the Raiders, and yeah, I think people just forget how good of a career Trevor Lawrence had in college. And I will put this out there just so that's on the record. His last game in college, he got BTA by the Ohio State Buckeyes, and it was a beautiful day. But before that, he had a fantastic career.
Yeah, did not lose a regular season game while at Clemson. 26-0 in regular season ACC play. That's bonkers.
Yeah, and this was like the era when like Florida State was legit.
Yeah, they were like ACC had some good football being played then.
Yeah, North Carolina had some dogs in the 2010s as well. Virginia Tech was no slouch. The ACC there was a time where it was a very, very talented conference.
I like where you went with that, so I'm going to go with. Was this my third pick? Yeah. Yep. I'm going to go with a guy that, because his NFL career did not go the way that it should, people forget. But 2013 to 2015, Jameis Winston at Florida State was electric and just so much fun. Won the Heisman, won every award that you could win, basically 2013. Youngest player to ever win the Heisman at the time, which is just wild. 8,000 passing yards over 2 years. Ranked second in Florida State's all-time touchdowns list and third in passing yards, despite playing half of the amount of games of his predecessors. So, yeah, just an absolute dog. And although his pro career has not panned out like I think everyone thought it would, he has turned into probably one of the best, like, just spokesmen for the game of football that we have seen in a long time. He loves football. He loves playing football. He loves people. He's like nothing funner than the clip of him at Hard Knocks where they're wanting him to hit the crossbar. And right before he's like, before I do that, I just want everyone to know, wait, Bible study at 3:00? Just make sure.
That was this last season.
Yeah.
Like, he's still out there. He's still doing it.
You're like, how do you hate that guy? But yeah, he was a ton of fun.
Yeah, he really was. I don't think there's been a quarterback since or before. I think he might be the only quarterback ever in the NFL history to do this. 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. Don't think I've ever seen a 30 and 30 season. He threw for 5,000 yards that year and threw 30 interceptions. Imagine what his numbers could have been if he cut those in half.
It's the most frustrating year. You're like 30-30. How is this possible?
Is this a ESPN show? 30 for 30? Like, what are we doing here? They need to make a 30 for 30 about the 30 and 30 season.
Oh, they have to.
Great pick. Number 3. My last one is my homer pick here. Blanked on his name earlier because I have brain problems, but JT Barrett, one of the greatest quarterbacks in Ohio State history. I had to look up his career stats because I knew that they were just dumb numbers. 9,434 yards, 104 touchdowns to 30 interceptions in his career. And 3,263 yards rushing and 43 rushing touchdowns in his career at Ohio State. And the most important thing about JT Barrett that I don't think people realize, never lost to the team up north. The most important piece of JT Barrett's history. He's the quarterback's coach in Detroit right now, I think. He's coaching quarterback somewhere, and I think it is Detroit. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Cleveland. I don't know. But yeah, JT Barrett was just a guy that went out. He was a great leader of men. Took care of the football, took care of his team, took care of his brothers, and won a lot of football games and scored a lot of touchdowns. I mean, what is that? 104 plus 43, 147 total touchdowns in his career at Ohio State. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, shout out JT Barrett.
My last one, I wasn't going to take 2 Oklahoma guys, but it would be disingenuous. It would be disingenuous, and it would be a shame to not have him on this list. Although the rest of college football thought it was a little unfair. The guy who had to redshirt and sit behind behind Baker in 2015. And we all got introduced to Kyler Murray when Baker Mayfield got in trouble and had to sit out a series for grabbing his nuts on the sideline at Kansas. That was very Lincoln Riley, like, I'm going to make him sit a series, guys. And they ran a quarterback run play, and he broke it down the sideline for 60 yards and ran out of bounds, and everyone went, that guy's fast.
Whoa, that was different.
Yeah, that was speed. Like, we'd seen speed. We'd seen Lamar. We'd seen Deshaun. We'd seen Cam. But they're like that speed, track speed. I don't know that I had ever seen track speed. And if he ever ran the 40, he was probably a 4.3 40 kid.
Yeah. And he's so short that he got there so quick too.
Yeah.
Like he hit his top speed very fast.
Yeah. He could just, once he hit the edge, you had no chance. You couldn't, your best bet was I remember they used to put a graphic together, the angle the defensive backs would have to take to get to him. And it was like laughable. Like, you're basically running just straight up field and hoping that you can hit him, at some point. So, you sat, split time between another guy named Kyle Allen, before at A&M, walked on, sat behind Baker, 15-2 as a career starter, and undefeated record as a high school quarterback.
Greatest high school quarterback in Texas football history.
That's the most wild stat I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, you mean you won 4 state championships? You did not lose a game
in Texas.
Like, yeah, if you had told me, like, no offense to the states, but if you said Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, I'd be like, I mean, that's cool.
Whoa, high school football in Arkansas. Yeah, you're right.
Like, if you're like, so you telling me you played 5A high school football in Texas and didn't lose a single game? But he was just so much fun. Watched him play at a baseball game. The greatest athlete I've ever seen in my life play baseball.
He was drafted by the Oakland A's.
I watched him hit a routine ground out to third base that I thought, I watched baseball my whole life. I go, he's out. That third baseman did everything. He ran to that ball so fast, trying to get it in his glove quick enough could not. Kyler
third
beat it out.
basemen have cannons.
Yeah, could not throw him out. It was like, this is bonkers that this kid plays. And in true Oklahoma fashion at the time, no one showing up to baseball games. And here, the greatest player in Texas high school football history is playing center field for them.
This guy's going to win the Heisman for your football team soon.
I remember showing up going, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Show you $8 to come watch a future Heisman Trophy winner and a #1 draft pick in MLB. No, we don't care.
Still, my undisputed first overall pick for quarterback for the United States flag football team.
Hey, I will say this. His dad, the most intense human being I've ever been around in my entire life. Like, a lot of how he's wired made sense when I met his father.
Maybe that's why he's so quiet and reserved.
His dad's stoic, like, intense eyes. You were like, oh, I bet growing up, you had to do everything perfect. There's a reason you are good at football and baseball. Your dad is high standards. So let us know in the comments what our list looks like. Obviously, you're going to say, oh, you left off Johnny Manziel. I did.
Yeah.
You left off Deshaun Watson.
There's good reason.
Like, come on. Guys that probably should make the list if you were making your own list, Marcus Mariota at Oregon threw for almost 11,000 yards, 105 touchdowns in college.
Man. D'Anthony Thomas, he had such fun. Michael James, he had such fun teammates to just like do stuff.
Yeah. Tua at Alabama.
Nah.
That was the era when Nick Saban was like, maybe we should recruit quarterbacks, like athletic ones.
They did have Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa on the same team at the same time. Andrew Luck, I think, is a name too that probably could also potentially be on that list.
You talk about a guy doing a lot with very little.
Stanford.
Like,
they don't go there to play football. It's the opposite of what Cardale Jones said about Ohio State. He said, we ain't come here to play school. At Stanford, they say we came here only to play school.
Yeah, if you make to the NFL playing football at Stanford, I don't think anybody's going to question your work ethic when you get to the league.
Your name is John Elway, Andrew Luck, or Christian McCaffrey.
3 of the smartest human beings to ever play football.
And 3 of the best football players we have ever seen with our own 2 eyes.
And one of them was like, I'm having CTE issues already. I'm leaving football. And everyone was like, what? And it was like, guy's smart. He's not an idiot.
Yeah, one of them played his entire career without an ACL. Shout out John Elway. Go Broncos.
I think that's probably all the ones that probably should have maybe made the list. I was in college, or I was just out of college, really, and paying attention a little bit when Manziel was happening.
He was electric. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. Anybody that saw it and went, I bet this will work in the league. That's on you if you thought that was going to work.
The Cleveland Browns. Speaking of franchises that ruin really talented football players, the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns, everybody. Clap it up.
Shout out to Cleveland, where quarterbacks go to die. All right. Make sure that you follow us here if you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. We're live every Tuesday night in the off season for college football. And then once college football happens, we will also be live Saturday mornings for our pregame show. That's a lot of fun. We'll be starting that up here. It's going to come before we know it. We got to get through baseball season and then
April, May, June, July, August.
5 months?
One hand. And we'll be at August 24th.
It's going to be wild. So make sure you follow us. Make sure you follow us all over social media. And we will see you guys next week.
God bless Bo Nix.